So it was May 2017 and I was attending a neighbour's son's 18th birthday party, which is just across the road from my house, and I got there at the end of the party when all the kids were sort of a bit drunk, and a fight had broken out between two boys, and one of the young gentlemen had had his nose broken, and I used to work for his parents, so I knew him quite well. So trying to be a good Samaritan, I said that I would take him to the hospital. So I managed to get this young guy in my car, and two of his friends said that they wanted to come along just to make sure that he was okay. We got halfway to the hospital and one of his friends in the back of the car suddenly just completely flipped and said that I was kidnapping him and he wanted to get out of the car, and who was I, where was I taking him? So I immediately pulled over and said, you know, if you want to get out of the car, that's absolutely fine, but I am taking your friend to hospital because he needs medical attention. So his friend calmed down and got back in the car and we carried on to the hospital. I managed to get the injured teenager out of the car, took him into the hospital to get him some medical attention. And then out of nowhere, the young guy in the back of the car that was in the back of the car attacked me for no good reason at all, punched me in the face, so I had a horrific black eye for about 3 weeks. He spat at me, he spat on my car, and then he proceeded to fly kick dents all around my car. I had about 4 or 5 massive footprint indentations all around my car. And then to sort of rub salt in the wounds, he then ran away after the hospital security came to try and, you know, restrain him. He then ran away, phoned the police and said that I had kidnapped him and his friends. So the police then came and arrested me and took me into the police station, did all my DNA, fingerprints, mugshots, hours and hours of questioning. I was in the police station for about 14 hours the next day, and it was all because I was trying to help this young guy who'd had his nose broken. I felt very lonely after the whole sort of thing had happened. I felt very isolated, really quite depressed as well, and my anxiety, which had been bad before, just completely peaked. I was an absolute mess. Didn't want to leave the house. I was a kind of a shadow of myself, really. I was first introduced to restorative justice by the police officer that came to see me. He didn't tell me too much about it. He just said that there might be a possibility for me to have some form of communication with this young man, and would that be something I was interested in? And I was very interested. I wanted to be able to look at this guy and tell him exactly what I thought of him and what impact his actions had had on my life and also on everybody else's lives around me, my parents, my grandparents, people that I work with, my own business that I work for, you know, that I run myself. The restorative justice team came over, talked me through step by step how the whole thing worked, how the meeting would happen. I felt really safe, felt like I could confide in the team that came to see me, and they spoke to me a few times, went to go and speak to the offender a few times, and brought us together in the same room for a meeting which lasted about an hour. And at the end of the meeting I felt an awful lot better. I felt like a massive weight had been lifted off my chest, and my mind finally felt clear for the first time in a long time, because I was able to ask this person questions and get a real honest answer about why he thought what he'd done was okay.